What's going on, everybody? We're back again.
I'm
Another
back
episode.
for
Oh,
a little
Flash is
bit.
back
A
for a
little
little
bit.
bit.
I'll be back.
All
I'm
right,
I'm I'm
that's all
just here
right.
for a little appearance,
Cameo.
cameo appearance. So
There we go. All right. Well, we're on episode 9 of season 2. We know we got big stuff popping off today. We gotta hit all those playoff games and what to expect from the next round of playoff games. For that's what Flash is gonna be here with us to do. Then me and JP's gonna hit it off of the NBA. We're gonna do a little bit different with the college aspect because college football just finished. Not a whole lot of stuff to do, so we're gonna try some different stuff with that. And then we got the best for last and hot topics. So Flash, what do you expect for this episode since you're gonna be back for a little bit?
I'm just gonna just hang around, have some hot takes for you guys. Some really hot takes, some absurd hot takes. I don't think you guys are ready for. Maybe, possibly,
Okay.
and yeah, mainly in the NFL, NBA. I think I may not. Well, hey, so how long we're gonna be in the NBA section?
I don't
Well,
know.
how
I
long's
don't.
NFL and NBA?
The NFL, I think we're gonna run over on the NFL because there's not too much to do with college. So we're gonna
Yeah.
eat up some college time into the NFL, but that's all right. Y'all know where to find us. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend. You know what's up. Head over to YouTube if you're watching on Twitter to for the comments. So because we like to interact, we're gonna hopefully get our Comic King on whenever he gets Tuesday off, so we can have that going. But yeah, I mean,
Hey
me and
Peeps is
Flash,
also showing up a little bit later in this
yeah,
episode, I believe. Is that correct? All right, good.
yeah.
So, with all that being said, let's start this episode. Hey, the Peeps. Whoa. Hold on. Did I just see that in there?
What?
Thank goodness he's gone. Ken Norton has parted ways with Seattle Seahawks. That's
Yeah,
like one of
yeah.
the best things I've heard throughout the past couple weeks. Of my
Okay, you're yelling in the
that,
microphone, bud.
that is one of the best things I've seen within the past week or
Much,
past
much
two
better.
weeks.
Thank you.
Good lord!
Yeah.
I hope they get rid of that offensive coordinator too, because things are gonna get gloomy with Russell Wilson if they don't get rid of that guy too.
Well, an interesting thing about that with Russell Wilson is he was on the Manning cast last night for the Rams Cardinals game, and he had an agreement. They said with he had an agreement with the Mannings to not ask about his future in Seattle. Actually, so
I mean, it looks like he's looking elsewhere. I mean, that's what it seems like. I would not blame him if he goes elsewhere if Seattle cannot get things right. And but I mean, I just still don't see a team that's probably better for him other than Seattle at the moment that's willing to contend. Maybe the Saints, possibly, but other than that, I don't even know. I don't even know if I want him in the NFC South. To be honest, that's just messing things up.
I doubt they
Um,
trade him inside the conference. But I mean, you want to get into these playoff games since you're on your short time budget.
I mean,
We'll
I
get
don't know.
some.
I saw the Ken Norton going away, so I'm
Ah,
just glad to see that because Ken
oh,
Norton
you're
was
just happy.
he is horrendous. So I'm glad he's
Well,
gone. Honestly, I don't care if that offensive coordinator was his first year in Seattle. That was abysmal, especially when you had Russell Wilson back as your quarterback. Even before he got hurt, that was abysmal offense. He has to go too. I don't care. If I was a GM of Seattle Seahawks, I would have fired him by now. I would not care what management thinks. He's gone. All right. I know for a fact I could get a better offensive coordinator elsewhere. So yeah, there goes that on my rant about Seattle Seahawks. All right, let's talk about the some playoff games. What the hell
Alright.
happened to the Cardinals? What the hell?
Do you want the truth or my opinion of the truth?
I'm gonna start off with that part of it was the referees, and you know what? We'll be talking about the refs all wild card weekend, which led me to a letdown of the wild card weekend. But anyways,
That
referees
I
are
had the
number
ref
one,
I had the
and
ref designated for hot topics. I didn't think they were worth my time in the NFL. They're too much of a joke to be
listen, all
considered
right, I'm only
NFL.
here for the NFL segment, so I'm gonna speak my mind for a little bit.
Okay.
And then Kyle Murray, what was he doing, man? Like,
Well,
I mean, I know the Rams defense is pretty good, but I mean, at the same time, I've seen Kyle Murray outplayed his Rams team, so it's like, what happened there, bud? And
well,
also, here's a hot take number one: Cliff needs to be fired.
I said that last night. So how is that a hot take?
Well, I'm saying on air, all right. He needs to go immediately. Look, he only has his team as a regular season contender, and if
No,
but it,
early regular season contender. They fell
earl-
apart last year too.
well, yeah. I mean, last year
Yeah.
also was due to injuries, but still, I still I would put him on a hot seat right now. He is on the hot seat as we
He's
speak.
on the hot seat for next season. I think if they have another letdown year, I think he's going to be gone. They won't fire him this season. This offseason, I don't think they will. But if they do have a collapse again next season, I think they're going to start looking elsewhere. But with that being said, I
I
mean,
mean, I don't
the,
know with Todd Bowles being available or any of the Buccaneers coordinators, that I would take the chance. That Arizona job looks very well. If
well,
you're
I know they
if
just
you're
gave
one of
him
those
an.
guys,
Well, the thing is with the Arizona's, they just gave Cliff a contract extension this during sometime this year, I think. So it's gonna be interesting to see. But I mean, you're not wrong with trying to take a peek at one of the Bucks coordinators or even Kansas City coordinators. But it is gonna be weird with Arizona this upcoming season, I think. But also, you got to give credit to the Rams. They pulled out every single trick they have in the book, and I think JP's will talk about this later on because
Rams played
they literally
extraordinarily
ran.
well on offense, but the
They've
defense
had
of the
so many
Cardinals.
trick plays. I was like, are y'all just trying to, I don't know, avenge your pathetic collapse of last week? Unless you guys just didn't want to play the Saints for some reason. I don't know, of choking the game against the 49ers. But nonetheless, I mean, they did play much better this week. I think the defense, they got after Kyler Murray. I think the defensive line did their job. I mean, the secondary wasn't even
Cardinals,
tested.
Car,
Kyler Murray
Card,
had less passing yards than Odell Beckham in the third quarter.
dude, the Cardinals offensive line looked like they were getting frustrated as there was fights going on throughout that game. So I think it's lack of discipline on Arizona too, along with the Rams defense. If I was Arizona Cardinals, I would look at fixing up your own line to protect 5'9" Kyler Murray in the pocket. That is what you want to do if you're the Arizona Cardinals right now. Other than hoping that DeAndre Hopkins get better and also that Buda Baker is getting better. Thank goodness Buda Baker is doing all right. So that's all I gotta say about that game. The Rams play Tampa Bay next week. I think we're all rooting for Tampa Bay because no one likes the Rams.
The Rams don't
Nobody.
even have an actual fan base. Not even.
I dislike the Rams more than I probably ever disliked Tom Brady ever. Because yeah,
Yeah,
Rams has reason to be hated, like actual reasons. So
yeah. Well, see, I've as a Saints fan, you getting screwed over by the Rams twice. The Bucks have only screwed you over once. So, I mean, it's not that much of a deal. You hate the Rams more than you hate the Bucks. Because I mean, oh, he's back. He's in. The man, the myth, the legend, JP's. What do you got to say
Oh, don't worry. I'm
about
flipping
this
through.
Rams Cardinals game?
Finish. I'm flipping through my scripture real quick.
Ah,
I'm just
all
waiting.
right,
Just go ahead. No, I want Flash to finish. Or no, whoever was finishing a statement, finish your statement.
oh
no, I was just finishing up.
he
About
was finished.
yeah, I was pretty much finished about saying why I hate the Rams more than I hate the Bucks. I really don't give a shit about the Bucks. Mind my language.
Oh, all right. Well, since I found my scripture, I turned the page. I can't say what I want to say on as far as that goes when I found my scripture just now, but yeah, that was pitiful. I will say I felt as if Kyler Murray played scared. I felt as if Kingsbury coached scared. I don't really put the blame on Kingsbury because I mean, at the end of the day, he just sends in the play call, and I feel like he had some good play calls. He it was just Kyler was more so playing scared because you could just look in his eyes. I what I saw in Kyler Murray's eyes, I had not seen since the Orange Bowl in the semifinal against Alabama back in 2018. That is the look of a frightened child. That's what I saw out of Kyler Murray. I'm just gonna tell you the truth.
I
And
agree.
when you act scared, you play scared, like what you saw. And what was it? Only 11 points, one touchdown that he got.
That is pitiful by Arizona standards.
It is.
Pitiful.
And if you think about it, Arizona's a team that held the number one seed at one point.
They held the number 1 seed
They-
all the way until like
They,
week
they
12.
they played like a number 8 team, or
Number
one of the
18
low-
haven't even made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's exactly how they play.
that's NBA terms, but they played like one of the lower seeds
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
That's instead of looking like a top seeded team, they look like one of the lower seeded teams, and that's
Well, let me ask this: who looked better, Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts or Arizona and Kyler Murray?
Honestly,
They're both making their first playoff states.
honestly, I'm
They
gonna
didn't
tell
play
you
that bad, but they
Jalen
got a
Hurts-
lot next year.
Jalen Hurts was
became hurt. He came out of that game with a walking boot on. And he played better than Kyler Murray.
I was about to say that as well. I mean, even
what
though
I asked.
Philadelphia could not get nothing going with the wide receivers or anything, so Jalen Hurts was either getting sacked or had to throw the ball away, and he still looked better than Kyler Murray. And we're talking about Arizona with a team that is full of weapons with Zach Ertz and AJ Green still, and a solid running back.
To tell you the truth, honestly, it was having seen it firsthand. I've noticed Jalen Hurts after it is true what a lot of Philly fans say. There's things he still needs to improve on. Seeing it firsthand, Saturday? No, Sunday. Seeing it firsthand Sunday, he misses a lot. When his primary read's not there, he just takes off and runs. And honestly, I can tell you in a couple of accounts, Devontae Smith was open a lot of times, and he just missed him. I know they don't show it on TV because they only show but so much. They show the part that people want to see. They see ball, follow ball. But I mean, dude, it was just I'm like, golly, like they could have scored more than they did, to be honest. And I mean, dude, he's the Heisman Trophy winner for a reason. You need to feed him, give him passes. He's on the sideline complaining and frustrated because Jalen Hurts can't find him or people aren't running the right routes. There was a play where Devontae Smith was open for like 10 seconds, and Jalen Hurts still couldn't get the ball to him. And by the time he finally threw it, Mike Edwards picks it off. It's a lot of growth that needs to happen. But Kyler,
I mean, this
Well,
was
let's
also
take on the next
Jalen Hurts. This was like a rookie season for Jalen Hurts when you kind of
He
think
beat me,
about it.
kid. He beat me, kid.
It's a rookie season because it's really his first full season playing out there.
that's true.
So I'm not gonna be harsh on Jalen Hurts as I am gonna be on Kyler Murray because this is like Kyler Murray's second season, third season.
Yeah,
playing.
I will give
Third
that
full.
to Jalen Hurts. I will, but Kyler, you can't give me any. I can't give him any passes. You played
Oh,
scared.
no.
You can't play this game scared.
I mean, and we know the athletic talent of Kyler Murray too. That's another thing that is crazy. Ooh, there's another hot take.
Yes.
There. You want to go there?
Yes.
Why are you drinking it like you about to go in the game? I'm laughing if you spilled on.
Oh,
I'm
jeez.
laughing if you just spilled on yourself. But go ahead. Go on.
All right, so here's another hot take I got for you
Get on
guys.
all my hot takes. It's all right.
Bengals could possibly be showcasing the AFC in the Super Bowl this year. It's possible.
They already beat Kansas City once. I want to
Look,
see them play Buffalo.
They
I think
they beat Kansas City. Jamar Chase was eating like crazy. Look, Cincinnati has Joe Mixon as a running back, and that's not even like half the best player. All right, you got Jamar Chase, who's looking like a second, third year star in the league. You got T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd as well. I mean, and you got a great quarterback in Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is that guy, ladies and gentlemen. He is that guy. Now I know he just completed his first season, but he is that guy.
Pastor
Bold letters, caps lock, that guy.
Pastor Flash, you finished? You finished,
So-
Pastor Flash?
So that I want to say I could see him taking out the Titans, assuming how good Derrick Henry is, obviously, and how well the Titans defense play. But I still think the Bengals offense is too much for that Titans defense. And I mean, whoever comes out of that Kansas City Buffalo game is going to be in a lot of trouble when they play the Cincinnati Bengals.
I love the look that me and Ace both have on our faces right now.
I'm just laughing because he's literally stolen two things I've already said on Twitter. So I mean,
no, this is my deep thoughts. I haven't checked your Twitter, Ace. I'm sorry. I haven't been on Twitter for a while.
I'm gonna tell you something when we get off. Well, actually, no, Ace. I gotta tell you something. Yeah, I gotta tell you something when we get off the air about this whole occurrence just now. It's so funny. But
okay.
That's good that we got through that one.
What could go wrong did go wrong. I've been wanting to say that.
You know what? It's the Cowboys. There's a black cat running around that franchise. I mean,
that black cat is called Jerry Jones. It's a white cat. What are you talking about?
Look, dude, I will smuggle a cat underneath my shirt or like a pocket black cat and have it run around that field. Just mess with
Now, you saw that stampede going in the front gates when that door's open at that stadium? Yeah, he ain't checking nobody. You could have carried a cat in and no one would have known.
Look, the problem started back in 1989 when Jerry Jones bought the team. Tom Landry was the standard in Dallas, and he fired Tom Landry. Yes, this is true. He fired Tom Landry. And then he goes out and he rebuilds the team with Jimmy Johnson, and they get 3 Super Bowls under Jimmy Johnson. Then he pushes Jimmy Johnson out the door. Lord, I know, dumb decision.
And Jimmy Johnson still backups the Cowboys on national television.
Hold on. And then he brings in Barry Switzer, and that's where the problems start. He gets 1 Super Bowl out of Barry Switzer, but things are never the same. You don't believe me? Ask Troy Aikman. That's where it all started. The dynasty died in 1996, and they've been playing with their fans' emotions for the last 26 years. And I'll say this too: if they don't fire Jimmy Johnson, they probably win more. They probably have more than 5 Super Bowls right now as a franchise. They probably win Super Bowls well into the 2000s, probably. Or the dynasty dies around 2000, and they run.
It's not so much even the dynasty. I mean, Mark Sanchez got more playoff wins than Dak Prescott does.
Oh yeah, now it's like.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, just back in like 2010 with Mark Sanchez, they won the freaking AFC Championship as the Colts.
Yeah, but I'm saying is like the problem started when Jimmy Johnson went out the door, but the problem is now with Dak Prescott, you gotta start looking. It's like he's lost to Jared Goff and Jimmy Garoppolo and Aaron Rodgers. I can't even tell you who the team they did beat. I'm serious. I can't even tell you who they beat.
They beat Seattle one year, I think.
So that's their 1 playoff win. That's his 1 playoff win.
Dude, they beat Seattle, a banged up Seattle.
Yeah, I remember.
It was a banged up Seattle.
They
were banged up.
That franchise it's pitiful. For one, I will say they do need to get out of the past. But
there's Toronto Maple Leafs of the NFL. That's just what it is.
But like I really don't know what it is about Dallas that they just cannot. And every year they torment their fans with these promises.
Well, let me start here.
Bro.
Jerry Jones needs to stop being the GM of the Dallas Cowboys. That is number 1. Number 2, Mike McCarthy is not that guy. I don't know where they thought Mike McCarthy coaching was going to be helpful in helping him win a Super Bowl, but Mike McCarthy is not that guy.
You're really not.
He's not that guy. So Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott is probably less of the issues they have.
That whole coaching staff is not the guy.
If they want Dak gone, he probably is going to go deeper in the playoffs on some other team.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe Kellen Moore is the first interview of the Denver Broncos. That just blows my mind.
I mean, that's not a good franchise either right now, to be honest.
No, it isn't.
Also, if they traded Amari Cooper to an actual contender or something, that Amari Cooper's going to win a ring somewhere else.
It's not even Amari Cooper that disappeared. CeeDee Lamb, I think only had like one catch,
He only had one catch the whole game.
and he didn't get that catch in almost until like fourth quarter.
And Cowboys fans, it's not the ref's fault, all right? The referees has to move and spot the ball, all right?
Oh yeah,
Okay, the ref thing was messed up, but the whole play call there was the dumbest. You have no timeouts. You have like less than like what? 15
and you have that
and your QB draw it. You are asking for trouble there.
My thing is, I don't get how you can play with someone's heart for 26 years. I just don't get
Toronto Maple Leafs have been doing it to their fans for like 60 something years.
Yeah, you got a point. The Jets been doing it to their fans for like 50 years, so I guess it makes sense.
Hey, the Jets and the Jaguars have gotten further in the playoffs in the last 20 years than the Dallas Cowboys. So
that speaks a lot.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
That speaks a lot. No, Blake Bortles has more playoff wins than Dak Prescott. Blake Bortles, UCF legend Blake Bortles, have more playoff wins.
That's true. And honestly, I'll go one further. I trust the Jaguars to win a Super Bowl before Dallas gets back to win one.
I ain't gonna argue with that.
That's extreme, but you know what? That's going to be true. I told Jerry Jones is not the GM anymore.
One condition on that, though.
That's on Jerry Jones.
We may not be here to see it when it happens. The way things are going right now, but
are you saying Jerry Jones is going to outlive us? Is that what you're trying to say?
Hey, look, tomorrow's not promised, my guy.
That is true.
But I look, if something happens to Jerry Jones, you know who's going to inherit that team.
Steven Jones.
Exactly.
What did that guy's name? Yeah.
The last name
Jones.
Still going to own the rights to the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, still the same thing with the McNairs and the Texans. They're both dumpster fires.
That's why the Texans won't win a Super Bowl. Until they do right by Deshaun Watson, they will not win a Super Bowl.
And then you have the Maras up in New York. They're the issue.
Now, it looks like the Texans might be making some better moves than the Cowboys right now, if they do make a good hiring choice.
Well, I mean, they got rid of David Culley after one. Did we talk about David Culley? No, he got fired after.
As insane that sounds about the Texans, it might be possible.
I think we're gonna save the David Culley one for the hot topics
because
we need to move on here to the blowout of the weekend with the Bills absolutely butt whooping the New England Patriots.
Wait, is it true that Houston
4 incompletions in negative degree weather? Are we going to talk about this or not?
Oh yeah, that was incredible.
That was incredible.
4 incompletions in negative degree weather.
My behind wouldn't have been out there, but that was incredible.
Buffalo needs to build a dome. All the teams up north need to build a dome. I think like all the teams in the AFC West, with the exception of Miami, play in open cold air.
No, that's the benefit of home field advantage. Because imagine
Buffalo plays in the cold, New York plays in the cold, and New England plays in the cold.
Okay, think about it like this: what if the Dolphins had to go up there, or what if the Jaguars had to go up there and play that game?
That is an advantage.
That would have been exactly. It's the same deal with the Bucks in September playing down here when it's like 100 and it was like 100 degrees with like a 10-degree heat index.
Yep.
So I mean, they're not building a dome. That's like saying the Packers need to get a dome over Lambeau. That'll never happen.
No.
Lambeau at least the next 100 years.
We won't be around. We won't be around. Jerry Jones might be around, but we won't be around.
Jerry Jones is going to make himself in a goddamn cyborg.
But we gotta move on here. We gotta move on here.
Which one have we?
Oh no! Remember when Patriots fans said that they were going to beat the Bills? Remember that? They were confident that Mac Jones.
Hey, we didn't do the Chiefs and Big Ben.
Oh, we'll put that in the hot topics.
All right.
I'm going to say thank you for a great career, Big Ben. Yours truly, because that's all I could say with all the time I have.
Yeah, I was going to say you grew up on him. That's right.
No. Ace was the Big Ben fan. Ace was the Steelers fan.
I grew up on Drew Brees, Big Ben, and Phillip Rivers.
Well, I mean, I guess you could kind of say we
And
all.
and Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's still around, so I don't.
I was a Peyton Manning kid.
Yeah, he was a Peyton Manning guy.
Golly, so hold on, you guys weren't around. You guys weren't even alive for Packers Brett Favre, were y'all?
Nah,
We really didn't pay attention to football back then.
When I was watching Brett Favre, he was getting his butt beat up, and he was trying to
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think most of the time I saw him, he was in Minnesota.
Oh my god.
Bounty Gate.
Jeez, and then you weren't even alive for Chad Pennington. Golly, oh my goodness, you guys.
I was alive for Josh Freeman.
You guys weren't even.
I ain't that young. Josh Freeman was what, 2008?
Yeah, golly, you guys weren't even around for Ben Maddox in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah, right before Roethlisberger.
Yeah, golly. Yeah, no, I'm going in a time machine right now. That's amazing. Jeez.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the prime Michael Vick. Well, I didn't get to see him. I was like 1 year old.
Oh yeah, you missed that. That was good.
All right, so I guess I could stay a tad bit for the NBA section, and then after that, I absolutely do gotta go.
All right, just go talk about Westbrook ending Rudy Gobert's life last.
I mean, that only proves that like he's just more in a shooting slump than what many folks want to call him washed. Because like, did you see that dunk? He took off from like near the free throw line.
His whole upper body covered a 7-footer.
His whole upper body covered a 7-footer while taking off nearby the free throw line. That is not a loss of athleticism there, all right? Not many point guards could still do that even in their primes. That speaks volume.
John Morant caught a block off what the
John Morant is
2 hands. John Morant's a freak.
Hey, John Morant is an exception because many people make that comparison with him and Russell Westbrook being super athletic guys. So he is an exception. All right.
All right. Let's do this segment, and then Flash is gonna go. All right. So this is a new segment I came up with today. It's called Trade or Keep. Right. So I'm gonna give you a name, and y'all gonna tell me if they should trade them or should they keep them. All right. So first up is John Collins from the Atlanta Hawks. Should they trade him or should they keep him?
I'm just gonna pull up the schedule.
The standings.
Yeah, the standings, and then
I will pull up the standings for you. All right. So Atlanta right now is the 12th seed in the Eastern Conference. They are currently 18-25, 9.5 games back of the number 1 seed.
Trade them.
And 4 games back from the 10th seed. Trade them.
Get some better pieces for him at this point. They already traded for Kevin Knox, so you might as well trade him. Which is strange for a team that also made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and also a team that made Trae Young and Clint Capella untouchable. But at this point, yeah, you might as well trade John Collins.
It's kind of interesting. Kevin went from being like the 11th seed and having a chance at the playoffs, kind of, to now he's like not even going to be in the playoffs at the 12th seed.
It's still kind of soon about that. I mean, Atlanta Hawks is an interesting team.
Russell Westbrook, 22-22 with the Lakers, 7th seed. What do you guys think?
They gotta keep him.
I feel like LeBron gonna make a move or something and get like a decent amount of guys up out of there.
This is the one I think is gonna get traded. Taylor Horton Tucker.
He's gone.
What team does he play for?
The Lakers.
He's gone. He's been pitiful with Lakers like all season except for like 1 or 2 games.
He gone.
He's gone.
You don't even know who he is. He gone.
No, he was drafted last year, but he's gone.
He got drafted last year. He got drafted by the Magic, and they traded him to the Lakers for like cash considerations.
What was
that?
There's
been many things against the second round picks, like 2018, 2017. It's been a while. But a while with Taylor Horton Tucker.
THT is like a disgrace wearing that Lakers jersey. That's how bad he is. But Lakers fans swear by him by his upside, but then they want to bash Russ.
All right, well, let me read the stats, right? He's got 10.6 points, 24% 3-point shooting, and 40% field goal shooting. And he's got 3 rebounds and assists. He ain't good.
Isn't Russ shooting better than him this season? He was at 30-something or 40-something% at one point. And Russ is not even that good of a 3-shooter.
And he was drafted in, part of my research time here, he was drafted. Oh, God, you're not going to give it to me? Wow. Screw you, Google. Wikipedia says 2019, second round.
Yeah, it was a few years back. It wasn't 2017. It was like
It was 3 years. 2 years later. I whatever. All right, next up, Mo Bamba with the last place Orlando Magic. I say trade his ass.
Really?
trade.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Trade him.
Wow.
He hasn't been living up to Magic expectations.
Not even the expectations. The dude is so soft inside. Like he gets posted up by point guards.
I'm actually surprised that y'all said that. But I mean,
He only blocks shots and
If
he can hit a
you're
couple
if you're
of
getting
threes.
if you're getting posted up by like someone built like Steph Curry or something, that's the problem. Because most of these point guards are not that buff, like except for the exception of the super athletic ones.
He isn't developing as they anticipated, and he got drafted in 2019 too or 2018.
PJ Washington should be traded as well. I'm gonna throw that out there.
I've seen one like trade rumor thing where they were looking at the Hornets were looking at Mo Bamba and the Magic were looking at PJ Washington, where the Hornets are currently the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference at 24-20. But all right, what do y'all think? Harrison Barnes with the Sacramento Kings. They are the 11th seed in the Western Conference.
Yes, that's another guy that should. Just because he's playing on the Sacramento Kings and Kings are dysfunctional, just trade him.
yeah. Golly, the Kings have fallen a long way from grace from where they used to.
They were trying to they were trolling Westbrook playing cold as ice, and then they just pointed out that they haven't been in the playoffs for a while.
Well, look, the Sacramento Kings should not be shit talking Russell Westbrook in the first place. For like the past whatever years, that man has been raw dogging him when they played. So, and then they just picked on the one game.
Okay,
That's
next
pretty
up, De'Aaron Fox,
That's tough.
same team.
Just
They do have 2 point guards in Davion Mitchell and Tyrese Halliburton.
Wait, so say those names again. The Kings have who?
De'Aaron Fox,
And who's the guy you named before?
Harrison Barnes.
Golly, wow, man, they still suck. Jeez, yeah, get them both.
Mhm.
yeah, get your picks.
Yeah, get them
Yeah,
both out there.
All right. I didn't put this one on the list, but I'm gonna add it. James Wiseman. He had arthroscopic knee surgery again in December.
Hey, if the Lakers could get James Wiseman, that'll be a big boost for them.
They're not. The Warriors aren't trading him to the Lakers. So.
Oh wait. Well, I'm thinking Jonathan Isaac. My
Was it a
bad.
Oh, y'all and Jonathan. Yeah.
Yes, Jonathan Isaac, please.
Was
Or
it a-
Jeremy Grant.
I pissed off so many Magic fans. I think it was Friday because I said I would trade Jonathan Isaac and a couple other people or a couple of picks for Ben Simmons, and they said no way. And I'm like,
Was it a meniscus tear or was it? Because I know
he had a patella injury to start 2020. I think it was 2020 or 2019, one of the 2 years. Then he had that same year he tore the ACL and meniscus, and he's been out since.
Yeah, the Warriors should not trade James Wiseman. He's been really good for them, regardless. Even before
He hasn't played for the year, and
I would
not trade James Wiseman still.
Only reason why I would trade James Wiseman is if you can bring in like a proven star already who can come in and guarantee.
Who are they gonna get? Capella? They're not gonna
No,
get Capella. Atlanta's not trading Capella. 76ers are not getting rid of Joel Embiid. Maybe you could try to fleece the Wolves with Karl Anthony Towns, but even that, I don't even think that's happening.
I would definitely hold on to him and like nurse him back to health, and then see what he has to offer after he comes back from an injury first, and then go from there. If he can produce, then I'd say investment well spent. Good job training. Good job trainers and doctors. If he can't, still good job doctors. You did the best you could, but I'd trade him for picks.
All right.
Did you guys hear on the news that the Lakers are officially putting Frank Vogel on the hot seat? He's on a game. He's on a game by game basis. So if he f's up, he's done.
Makes sense. I mean, he's a defensive minded guy, and they have not been defensive minded. They're giving up. From what I heard on First Take, they're giving up 113 points per game.
That's not very defensive at all.
Exactly. So I mean, what's the point? what is his usefulness if they're not living up to the standard that he's supposed to take pride in? So,
And AD is not being the defensive player that he's been, even when he was
he's also
healthy.
been hurt, and he's
No.
been
What when he was playing?
Oh yeah, he was horrible.
He was horrendous.
the only thing you need to ask now is like, who do you get if you do move on?
Sam Cassell. Where's Sam Cassell's at?
Yeah, I was like, Ron will find-
Clippers.
Huh?
He's in the Clippers.
Really? No,
Oh, yeah.
he's not.
Yeah, Sam Cassell's with the Clippers last I checked.
No, there's no way he's coaching behind Ty Lue.
Check
No
it.
way. No way Sam
Anyway,
Cassell's being coached by Ty Lue.
KD's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with the knee injury, and there was talks that Harden is open for a move elsewhere after the season because he's going to be a free agent, and Kyrie won't change his vaccination stance and will stay a part-time player. So Brooklyn,
I had a lot of hope for that Brooklyn team. I really did.
They're third in the East right now at 27 and 16. They're only a half a game back from the first seed.
So Sam Cassell is actually a assistant under Doc Rivers in the 76ers.
Oh, he went to the Sixers, so he left when Ty Lue got hired. He went to the.
I feel like if the Lakers could target one of the assistant coaches, it could be done. I'm sure. Because I know for a fact you do not want David Fizdale as your head coach on a team like the Lakers. Well, actually, he might be an okay coach under LeBron's coaching. I mean, hey, you know what? Maybe LeBron and Russ may be able to run the whoever offense, like how you see Westbrook running under Scott Brooks. And even he looked more successful in Washington under Scott Brooks and Frank Vogel. I mean, Frank Vogel makes Scott Brooks look like a magician with the way how Russ is being utilized.
All right, one more thing before we
Scott
move
Brooks is hideous.
I gotta ask this question. I don't know if we answered this already.
No, we did not. They're trying to hope that they can get I don't even want to say a Harden type offer, but it's like essentially like 3 first-round picks and a good player. That's what they want.
Maybe trade him to New York. Trade him for Kyrie or something. Maybe Kyrie would be happy.
That'd be if KD signs off on that move. That move ain't happening unless KD signs it off.
I'm kidding with that one. The only way Ben Simmons gets traded is like if the Lakers really want Ben Simmons and they're willing to trade Russ.
Nah.
And that's. I mean,
LeBron and Ben can't. I can't see that working together.
I mean, hey, Russ and Embiid with that 76ers shooting is a dream.
Hey, LeBron and Simmons on the same team. All you gotta do is just foul them. You have a higher chance of just winning.
Defense with Vogel, man.
Yeah.
Okay. I was playing around with that one.
All right.
Let's talk about John Morant. I want to talk about John Morant.
Oh, he just ain't want to go. He said he got to go and then he can't go.
Oh,
I want to talk about John Morant real quickly.
All right. Well, look at the question to talk about.
Very dangerous. All right. Unless you are the Phoenix Suns, you should be afraid of the Grizzlies.
They are the 3 seed right now.
Because guess what? The Warriors always get bitched around when they play the Grizzlies. John Morant keeps going for Steph Curry's head.
I was saying, but the playoffs, that's a different monster now.
It is a different monster, but John Morant so far has been beating Steph Curry. They knocked him out in the play-in game last year. John Morant's been out playing. As wild as it sounds, it's been true.
Fair enough.
So, I mean, yes, I know it's regular season, but unless you are the Phoenix Suns, you should be terrified of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay.
And did you see Steven Adams? Like, even though Steven Adams as a basketball player is
he's
not
a club bouncer.
He may not be the best basketball player, may not be the best center, but you want that guy on your team because, like, that man will defend your superstar. He will actively defend your superstar. Look. Let me tell you a few things about Steven Adams. All right, Steven Adams has sized up against when Zaza tried to beat up on Russell Westbrook back in 2017, whatever. He He put a hard screen on Patrick Beverly, knocking him down to the ground. And now we had Steven Adams actively picked up another team's center and walked him like, what, 20, 30, 40 feet away from a fight?
All right, so they can't even make the argument of Ja having done it in the playoffs because he averaged 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists in 5 games in the playoffs against Utah last year.
And knocked out Steph Curry.
Portland's playing Orlando again.
Yep.
They played last night. Or
All
like
right,
Monday
was
night,
my rant
Orlando.
over Steven Adams convincing about the type of guy he was or no?
Blistering Fury from Flash. Yeah, I think that's like number 4.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's more cases, but those are the ones I remember on top of my head. When he sized up against Zaza, when he put a hard screen on Patrick Beverly, dropped his ass to the ground, and then he picked up another center for crying out loud.
All right, you got everything out of the system. You're good
Yes.
to go back to doing what you got to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I am heading out. It's been fun, y'all.
Alrighty,
Text y'all later, all right?
you take care. You take care, sir. USF National
Take care,
Alumni,
Pastor Flash. Take care,
USF
Pastor.
National Alumni President Flash.
You got. Oh wait, I need to ask Jordan one thing. What do you
Okay.
think about the USF hiring of the new offensive coordinator?
Who trick it?
Yeah, from
I mean, he comes from a good.
West
He comes from a
Virginia.
good pedigree. He comes from a good pedigree. I mean, that family's. They bleed football. They've got good history at Florida State, at Samford. I mean, USF got a good one.
I think so too.
I mean, hopefully the guys buy in. To be honest with you, I trust the Trickets with what they do. I think the unfortunate thing with Trickett was the game had passed him by and his time was done. But I mean, if USF players buy in, it could pay off. But again,
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like every single USF player that has stayed at USF, they have bought into the system. That includes Timmy McLean and everyone else, and Battle and all of them. They all been with them for a long time, and I haven't heard any guys have wanted to transfer it out yet. So I think most of them are buying into the system and trusting the process at USF.
as it should be. But yeah, you take care, man.
Take care.
Yep. You have a nice evening. Boy, he did not want to go away.
No, he did not.
That's like when Timmy Turner's Fairly Odd Parents were getting sucked into the wormhole, and he was like, "We don't want to go away forever. We love you."
No, I was gonna say that's like a kid when they say it's time to go to bed, and they say, "Nah, I'm not going yet." Essentially,
that's when you got to get out the chancla or the ruler or the belt.
But
where we at? What we got with
we got the Big Ten and ACC not being totally sold on the 12-team playoff. The ACC's already came out and said they don't want it. I don't know why. I mean, it's not like they got in last year on their 4th team because the ACC's been horrible this last year. But
honestly, I really feel like the playoff should just stay at 4 teams.
I can't get behind that because it just feels like the playoff committee sometimes you get like a kind of a type of bias in it, like they want to have certain teams in, and then some teams get messed off or whatever.
Yeah, but
if a bad team gets in, they're gonna get blown out anyways. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
And I mentioned it like this many moons ago on an older episode of the Running Gun podcast, because here's what's gonna happen if you expand it to 8. You're going to put some at-large teams in. You're going to, of course, put the conference champions in. So the ACC champ gets in, Big Ten champ, SEC, Pac-12, Big 12. Your 5 conference champions get in. But then you're going to look at the next few teams. So then you've got your runner-ups. And
guaranteed is going to be the SEC runner-up.
Exactly. So, and then from there, you look at the SEC runner-up and you're like, well, gee, who is ESPN's cash cow? The SEC. So you got to think about it like this. On one year, you're going to have Alabama and Georgia get in, and then let's say LSU has a successful 11, 12 win season too, but they just miss out, or 11, 10, 11 win season, they just miss out. LSU gets in. And then let's just so happen Auburn has a successful season too, where they win 10 or 11 games. They're getting in too. On top of that, then you look at, the American champion who will get in on top of that. Plus, I mean, if the American runner-up is any good, they'll get in. Then the ACC runner-up will get in. So, I mean, it heavily favors the SEC plus a few other teams sending their at-large teams in. And I think...
Well, I mean, there's one solution to that. Make the ACC be better and stop looking so pathetic.
But see, how do you make the ACC better?
Huh?
How do you make the ACC better?
I don't know. They're not getting the recruitment like the SEC is.
They're not. And the crazy thing is they were. And I think it's the firepower of coaches. All of the top tier coaches have gone to the SEC for the most part. The ACC doesn't really have that, except outside of Dabo, who really we're about to find out how good he is without Tony Elliott and Brent Venables. And Florida State, they've disappeared since Jimbo left. Pitt, I don't count on Pitt to be successful. Yep. Who else is there out there? Miami. We're gonna see what Cristobal does, but I'm not expecting too much. So that's
and I don't count on Boston College. I don't even know if there's any other. Who else is top dogs in the ACC? I mean, you always, because Clemson's been running it since like 2013. It feels like. And then you have the FSU days with Jameis and Dallas. It's been those two teams really in the ACC coming out.
Wake Forest is another team that's pretty good, but I think Sam Hartman is not going to be there too much longer at quarterback. So
yeah.
And then you also got UNC, but UNC is not. I'm not expecting much from UNC next year.
Nope.
But
all right, before we get into college basketball, you want to just set up the rest of the kind of tidbit college football news. We got.
Sure.
I think this came out, I want to say, literally Tuesday or Wednesday, where the talk of they say Stetson Bennett's been looking at the transfer portal. I mean,
I don't see why he would.
I forgot that the NCAA gave kids an extra year of eligibility because of COVID.
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking he would have had to go to the draft this year, but I was like, he can go transfer. That makes sense because people are already looking at they're looking at JT Daniels, and then they got I think 2 5-stars right there on the bench also. So you're like, do you want to go to Stetson again, or you're gonna go turn to JT? I don't know if JT could prove himself healthy for the whole year, or this year was just weird for him. But
I find it weird that Stetson Bennett would leave after all this whole story on him of, he's grown up a Georgia guy. He loves university. He walked on and everything, earned his way, blue collar working guy type of thing like that. I'm surprised that he would even consider entering the transfer portal. The other one I'm surprised, well, not surprised at entering the transfer portal, I felt like he was gone regardless, was JT Daniels. And if he leaves, he'll have his options, a few interesting ones. Miami comes to mind for JT Daniels. Florida State. Where else? Maybe USC. Who knows?
Did USC grab anybody when Lincoln went? I don't know if they did.
USC has not grabbed anybody yet, and Caleb Williams is still floating around out there in the transfer portal.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone anywhere yet.
Exactly, same. That's why I'm just I'm wondering now where and what's going to happen. So it's going to be an interesting occurrence. It really is. We'll see.
Yep, we shall see. Hunter Johnson is going back to Clemson after a hot minute in Northwestern.
I mean, honestly,
I really don't even know why he's even relevant anymore.
Exactly. Because that's my thing. I'm like, really? You really were about to go to Northwestern and leave Clemson, leave a situation like Clemson? You're guaranteed at least to make a bowl game at Clemson. But Northwestern too, I'm not.
And he's going back from Northwestern to Clemson.
I don't know. Well, I'll just leave it like this. I don't know. I even considered leaving Clemson.
Trevor Lawrence was there. That's why.
Well, yeah, and then Brent Venables and Tony Elliott is gone too, so I can kind of understand that. Tough it out, man. Tough it out. Earn your way on the field. DJ,
Yep, I stopped bouncing around.
He ain't all that. Fight for your spot. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, right. All right, we got Chip Kelly getting a 4-year extension, which is kind of shocking because people were calling for his job before last season.
Yeah, UCLA ain't gonna do too much.
No kidding.
We at least we know who's gonna win the Battle of Los Angeles for the next 3 years.
The next 4 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, unless they fire him after year 3, which is always a possibility.
Yes.
But you have 3 Alabama all 3 of Alabama's top receivers are going to the draft. Jameson Williams, John Mechie, and Bolden. Jordan Battle is returning the safety. He's returning for his senior year.
Fair enough. I'm not expecting Mechie or Jameson Williams to really have big roles in the combine, having still recovered.
I am starting to think Jameson Williams didn't tear his ACL. I know I heard them say, but I'm not entirely sure if he actually did because they said that he's still projected to go round 1. I'm like, if you tore your ACL, I seriously doubt you going unless it's very late.
It's possible.
They're still ranking him number 3, which is
it's possible.
Shocking.
He's explosive. He's explosive enough. It's possible. And then plus you gotta think too with modern day sports medicine.
That is true.
Really possible. I mean, and then honestly, the doctors and the trainers at Alabama do an amazing job preparing those guys to come back from injuries. Like, I mean, if you looked at Mechie looked like he was ahead of schedule with his recovery. So I mean, Jameson Williams will probably be the same way. So I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Oh, it is a torn ACL. So let's see, ACLs are what, a year or 9 months?
ACLs are 9 months, but to be specifically safe, they take about a year.
So he probably wouldn't even play his rookie year. Neither of them would.
No.
I don't know if I was a GM, I wouldn't entirely be drafting a guy coming off a torn ACL round 1. But I mean, it does make sense if you want that extra year.
Yeah.
Just got to be. If you're going to take him round 1, you're not going to be like a rebuilding team like a Jets or a Jaguars taking him round 1.
There has to be a plan in place for guys like that. And
see, I trust a quality organization to draft him and not a dysfunctional one.
Yeah, so and I know what you mean when you say that. So that like he does not need to go to Cleveland. He doesn't need to go to neither one needs to go to Cleveland, New York, either New York team or Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
I could see maybe not even Miami. Miami's got a decent.
Miami don't need a wide receivers. If it would be first round, I'd say it's probably Green Bay. If they make it that far,
yeah,
maybe the Chargers. I don't think the Chargers really need another guy, but
the Chargers don't. They got triplets. Jalen Guyton's coming along very, very well.
And they got Josh Palmer too with Mike and Keenan. But isn't Mike Williams supposed to be a free agent, I think, coming up soon?
Seattle
don't got no first round picks. So I think
man.
And given how I saw Rashad Penny play the last month, I don't even think they go Kenneth Walker to start the second round.
Mm-mm.
Kenneth Walker, whoever gets him, they're gonna get like an absolute fantasy superstar stud, I feel like. But I don't know. I can't Minnesota maybe for one of these receivers because I know Theon's getting up in age, and they got Jefferson, but I mean they can always add another guy. They need a defense help.
Trio. They would have a nice trio if they could get Jameson Williams, Mechie, or Olave.
Who else? Denver definitely don't need no receivers. They got 3 solid guys, but then there's also been talk of Judy maybe getting traded because they just paid Cortland Sutton and what's that guy, Tim Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting one, but yeah. We'll move over to hot topics. I mean, Iowa's head coach Kirk Ferentz got an extension through 2029. Huh?
I was actually excited about college hoops and to talk about that.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I wanted to talk about this Auburn thing because Auburn being number 1 in the country that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, they got I think they have a dude. He's a power forward. I'm forgetting his name. It's Jalen something, and I'm completely drawing a blank on what his name is. But they've been running it the last 2 weeks.
I will say, I usually have not really given Auburn the credit that they're due, but Auburn recently, they've been on a roll in basketball.
Jabari Smith, that's what his name is. Yeah, that dude, I think he's going to give Paulo Banchero a run for his money for the number 1 pick with Chet Holmgren, but Auburn been running, man. I swear. It's been crazy. And then he had 9 teams lose on Saturday. Number 1 Baylor was part of that. USC, LSU, Alabama, a couple other guys.
Makes sense.
All lost on Saturday. And then we were talking
in a dogfight.
Again. Remember we were talking about them last week, and then they proceeded to go lose. Like exactly after the show finished.
They're about to lose right now. You got 47 seconds. They're in danger of losing right now.
Who are they playing?
They're playing Oklahoma. 12-5 Oklahoma is currently down by 2, and they just tied it up to number 7 Kansas, who's 14-2 and 3-1.
Kansas always got a good program, but I think this year they've been better than the last couple of years.
My problem with Kansas is they always do have a good program, but they can never necessarily put all the pieces together to
win it in the tournament.
Exactly. Because there's been like maybe 2 years out of the last 6 that I've made brackets, and 2 of those years I gave Kansas a chance, and they just lost it all in the Elite 8 both times.
I'm trying to remember the year, but it's pretty recently they were in the Elite 8. I want to say like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Oh, this is back in like 2000
What, the Wiggins day?
14. This was back in
that was the Wiggins team.
15. Yeah. And they just let it go. But yeah, I mean, that's all I wanted to say about college basketball. I'm looking forward to it. I'm watching it right now, but that's all I want to talk about.
Yeah, I'm ready for February, March, for when those when the conference tournaments. Hey, what's up, Ashton? When those conference tournaments start up, that's what I'm ready for.
Yeah, same. I'm looking forward to that too. That's going to be an interesting.
That's when the fun begins for real.
Oh yeah, I mean, give me about I think honestly for me, I think after the NFL playoffs is over, I'm definitely going to be more invested into college basketball, and I'm going to be watching closer. So that'll definitely have my attention. Wow, Baylor plays Oklahoma Saturday at 3.
So the Big 12 is just beating on each other right now, I swear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh dude, yes. But
it's a dogfight in the Big 12.
I'll keep you updated on this, but by all means, let's switch over to hot topics now.
Yep. All right. So what do you want to do first, David Culley or Mike Maycock?
You call him Mike Maycock?
Yeah, I'm gonna call him Mike Maycock. Not Mike Maycock.
Mike.
I know what his name is, but
oh my goodness.
I typed it in wrong, but I know his name is Mike Mayock, but I'm like, you know what? He's been so bad in Las Vegas. I'm gonna call him.
My thing is y'all did here's my thing. First of all, y'all did not see this coming when
we knew it was coming.
Working the draft and the combine. Y'all did not see this coming. Come on.
It's like hiring Todd McShay to be a GM. Or not Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, that idiot.
Exactly. Like, he is literally NFL Network's version of Mel Kiper. Are we really excited? Like, are we really surprised by this? We saw this coming. Come on.
All right, let's give a rundown of the picks. His first round picks, man. Holy crap. The only good pick in the 3 or 4 years he was there was Josh Jacobs. Let's get that straight out of the door. Josh Jacobs is the only good pick. Yeah, Thielen Farrell in the same draft class. They took him 4.
Oh, right? Yeah. They could have had Devin White in the fan base with this.
Yeah.
They could have had Devin.
And yeah, that was that year. And then they had Alex Weatherwood this year. And I skipped 2020 for a reason because both of those guys aren't even on the team right now, and Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett. They say they draft high character guys.
I'm gonna give Mayock a pass with the Henry Ruggs pick because honestly,
No, they took Ruggs over Judy. Henry Ruggs wasn't even the best player on his own college football team.
he
And
was
they took him over
he
Judy.
was-
They took
he
him over
was
C.
the fastest, but he wasn't the best. I will say that. I give you that. But I will say this: the Henry
And not
Ruggs.
even Justin Jefferson went after all of them. I mean, Jalen Ruggs also went. Jalen Rager also went in front of Justin Jefferson, and we saw how bad he was on Sunday. I mean, weren't you at the game? You saw how bad Jalen Rager was.
Oh, I know. There was a lot of Eagles fans cussing out Jalen Rager. I was like, man, y'all really just don't like this guy. I thought it was just like the Twitter warriors that didn't like him, but like I'm like, y'all really don't mess with him like that. Like it's really like that. My goodness.
Yeah.
But it's
I mean, his back end drafting wasn't as bad. I mean, he's only got like 4 guys and 3 draft classes still on his team outside of the second round. Like Max Crosby, Trayvon Mullen, and Trevon Morig are like, and Brian Edwards are like the only main guys, and Hunter Renfrow are like the only main guys still on that team out of his draft classes. So I mean, it ain't been great, and it's just been going downhill from there essentially.
Once again, why do we bring guys off of TV to do the job that we know they can't do? And then and then the thing is too, I noticed this watching Hard Knocks. The way he would act in the facility, he acts like I'm gonna say it, call it like it is. He acts like a hard ass and to showboat for cameras, but in reality, we know he ain't worth a snap bean. We know he ain't worth nothing. Because I'm watching Hard Knocks, and I'm like, you just fronting.
All right. Let's give some names of who they took. They took Ceylon Farrell, right? That's when they had the 4th pick in the draft. They took him over Devin White, Ed Oliver, Rashawn Gary. Christian Wilkins hasn't been bad in Miami. Brian Burns been a beast in Carolina. Jeffrey Simmons should have been I think he's a Pro Bowler this year in Tennessee. Even Montez Sweat has been good. So I mean, it's like they passed up on some solid dudes to take Ceylon Farrell, who was. I mean, let's be real. Was he even the best pass rusher in Clemson? I swore Dexter Lawrence was more dominant than him.
Way more disruptive. He was
his
own team.
All right. Have we bashed him enough?
Yeah,
I don't know if he got a that's what I call him.
I've already said it. He needs to go back to the NFL.
All right. Let's want to have a mini rant on Dave Culley or not?
David Culley is a victim of the NFL not giving enough African American coaches time to do what they need to do, because it makes no sense once again that you fire David Culley for going in there and doing a job that he did, and you got guys like Kellen Moore who ain't all that and probably won't right the ship in Jacksonville if he's hired in Jacksonville. A chance. You'll give Kellen Moore 5 years, but you won't give David Culley or Brian Flores 5 years.
No, they didn't give David Culley 2 years. Yeah, and I think he's getting paid, I want to say like 20-something million for the next 4 years anyway.
Exactly.
Like he's gonna get a boatload of money for the next couple of years, but I mean, how do you want to give the man 1 year? I mean, he wasn't bad. He got that team. That team really ain't got much on that offense, and he still got out 4 wins with a team that got gutted by Bill O'Brien.
That's the shameful part of the business. And this is why when people constantly always ask why Eric Bieniemy is still a coordinator, why is Byron Leftwich still a coordinator, why is Todd Bowles still a coordinator? I mean, look, I mess with you and I tell you, I'm like, look, they ain't going nowhere. But the harsh reality is look, if I'm any of those guys and I'm getting looks from these teams, and I'm seeing how they're doing, my fellow brethren, fellow African Americans, and that get these head coaching jobs, do I really want to leave the situation I'm in right now? If I'm Eric Bieniemy, do I really want to leave Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the chance to play for Super Bowls every year to go dig a franchise like Jacksonville out of the ground when I know darn well I'm not gonna get any help from the front office?
Bieniemy and Leftwich, I mean, if they're real smart, they can just stay right where they is.
And that's what I
I
would
mean,
do.
Leftwich is the only one I can see actually probably leaving because you ain't gonna know who's gonna be your quarterback once Tom retired. But then, given Tom Brady, he might just play for the next 7 years until he's 50, or 6 years until he's 50. So, but but Bieniemy, he got Mahomes for the next 10 years. I want to say
Exactly.
And you got Kittle under contract, and you got Hill under contract. You know, just wait until Andy retires.
And honestly, here's this: if I'm Eric Bieniemy, I'm hanging around until the day Andy Reid retires. I don't know when that'll be, but I'm hanging around until he retires so that way I can inherit that team.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes gel well together, and same thing goes for honestly Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich. I'm inheriting that team when Bruce Arians retires. That's what I would do.
I don't know, but I feel like Bowles is going to get a job. He's got interviews up in Minnesota, and he's got interview in Chicago. I don't see him getting the Chicago job because Chicago's a bunch of idiots anyway.
I don't see him getting either one. I feel like, honestly, I think Minnesota acts stupid. Then again, I don't know. Minnesota hired Dennis Green, so they may take a chance with Todd Bowles. So I don't know.
I mean, you're in the NFC North. You probably need a defensive coach because you got Aaron Rodgers right there, but also Aaron Rodgers might not be there at the end of the year, so there's also that.
Yeah. And then honestly too, I will say this. If they do leave Tampa, I find it hard to imagine that Tom Brady doesn't know any good coordinators out there or guys out there that are ready.
They get someone like this.
Exactly. Yeah, they'll replace him. And then honestly too, the offensive mind of Tom Moore is still on that sideline. Tom Moore is an old mind that's been around.
And they got Pep Hamilton, I think, too.
Yeah, I think they do. So I mean, look, you have a mind.
That one, I was surprised he didn't stay in Los Angeles. I was surprised he didn't want to stay with Herbert and work with Herbert. He went with Brady instead. Well, it's whatever.
He's trying to get himself a ring. That's what it is.
Well, he already got himself a ring, didn't he?
I'm not 100% sure, but
wasn't he there last season, or he just came up this year? I know he's on the team now, but I don't know if he was there last year or not.
I have to go back and check.
But I mean, like even Dan Quinn is getting interview after like literally having a dumpster fire in Atlanta for like 4 years.
Dan Quinn,
and the defense really wasn't that great. I mean, Micah Parsons did all the work. Trayvon Diggs, you saw Trayvon Diggs on full display in the wildcard round, where Brandon Ayuk absolutely torched the living hell out of him.
Kansas won. They won by 3, 67-64 over Oklahoma. They held on.
Good job, Kansas.
You know, I know what you mean, though. Yeah, it's Trayvon Diggs to me is probably the best, most inconsistent corner in the NFL. That just happens to be in the right place at the right time when the ball's in the air.
He's an overglorified Janoris Jenkins.
Yeah, like I don't understand it at all. Like he does things that would normally get you benched. Like anybody would get benched, but he makes up for it by being at the right place at the right time. It's so I can't describe it. You can't get any more lucky at being inconsistent, as weird as that sounds.
It's not even inconsistent. It's just pure luck because he's been bad the entire year in coverage, but he somehow has like 11 or 12 picks, which makes absolutely no sense.
It's crazy.
I mean, I can see why he has 12 picks. You know why, actually? Because most ball hawks can actually pick off the ball. They play lockdown defense and they don't allow a whole lot of yards, so teams don't even throw it that way. But Trayvon Diggs is so bad in coverage, teams know they can exploit him to get the yards. That's why they throw to him and he can still get the picks as the season goes on.
Yeah, so I would say he's good at baiting, should I say. He's good at baiting people. But at the same time, the inconsistencies are glaring, and those need to improve. But that could be a case of possibly just being satisfied with getting paid and having success, which it does happen.
I mean, I want to see. Did Stephon played him right this year?
The Cowboys did not play the Bills this year.
Oh, it was last year's when the Bills put the Cowboys. That's right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I want to. Stephon would absolutely torch the absolute living crap out of Trayvon.
That was some people's Super Bowl matchups. I guess their brackets have been busted.
Well, I mean, I want to see the rematch. Stephon, remember he was going like this last year in the AFC Championship. That's gonna be a hell of a rematch. I mean, Kansas City scored 5 touchdowns in less than a quarter and a half.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking
They said it
forward.
was 11 minutes of possession, 11 and a half minutes, I want to say. There was some NFL record. Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns in like that amount of time. And I'm like,
Trying to remember. I think that game was on Sunday as well.
that was Sunday night. I stopped watching. I was like, I can't see this for Ben. I'm gonna just stop. Deontay dropped almost like 3 or 4 catches, and I'm like, all right, Twitter's gonna kill him, but I'll stick with him. If you want, you can go head over to the Saints. They need a guy who can run a route and get open, so I'll take him.
Monday, right after the Bucks game. Interesting. Okay. Interesting.
That game's what, Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday out right after the Bucks game is over.
Okay, so that's the 4 o'clock.
6:30 game.
Yeah, that's close enough. Yeah.
So this ought to be.
Wait, the Bucks is at 3 or 2?
The Bucks play at 3 o'clock.
That's a weird time.
It's just the way the playoffs work now. Because honestly, the conference championship weekend has the games set up to where the AFC championship will be.
It's on the same day.
Yeah,
the AFC the championships are on the same day at that time, but I know it felt weird hearing that. But anywho, so like this nonsense about we got everybody right. Yeah, so let's talk about the Sean Payton nonsense, bro. They keep talking about him getting traded to Dallas or Chicago.
Yeah, that ain't happening. As much as I don't really like the Saints, I know that ain't happening. That Sean Payton he's going to retire
in New Orleans.
Yeah, he's going to retire in New Orleans. I don't know when that'll be, but I don't see him going anywhere. And the only way he may leave New Orleans for Dallas is if Jerry Jones throws like a big bankroll at him. But
it's not even the bankroll because he got a contract extension and at like midway through 2019, right? It was just before they played like the 49ers or whatever, that big game. But he's under contract till 2026. I mean, the only way they're getting him out of New Orleans is if Jones makes a very convincing argument for him to want to leave New Orleans, and then Dallas giving up like, you remember how the Raiders gave up the Bucks gave up 2 firsts and 2 seconds for Gruden to go head over to Tampa in like 2000. Yes. It's gonna probably be like twice that amount.
Honestly, if I'm Sean Payton and I get called up about that, I have one demand and one demand only if I do go to Dallas, and that
Jerry
is
Jones doesn't tell him how to do his job.
That I want Jerry Jones out of the way at all times. You have no say at all. You can do your little radio show and do your little interviews, but when it comes to that draft room, you sit your behind in that corner and you don't move. I call the shots here. That's how it's gonna work. Honestly.
I think it'd be more likely to see him in Chicago, but that'd be if he gets older and he wants to just go back home because that's where he's from, and he'd also get to work with Justin Fields. I can see is as minimal a chance as this ever happening. I can see it has a higher chance of being Chicago than it'd be Dallas.
Oh yeah. Plus, I mean, look, Chicago is not dysfunctional.
You won't have to deal with Jerry Jones.
Exactly. Like I said, Chicago's not dysfunctional. The ownership in Chicago knows how to stay out of the way and let you work. But if they need to step in and change things, they will. Like with a lot of franchises, as you've seen.
But I don't think New Orleans will let him go simply because of the fact they were so bad before they got him and Breeze. Like,
oh yeah,
it just changed. They already lost Breeze. I don't think they're gonna want to lose Payton. They'll just like milk him until he's just says, "All right, I'm done."
If that were to happen, the Saints would go back to the
The
fifth
Aints.
quarter and the French Quarter. Yeah, the Aints, the Archie Manning days. Yeah, it'll slowly start to happen though. It won't just happen like that. It'll slowly work its way down because at first things would be like, yeah, we're still doing good without Sean. We didn't we all right. And
As the
then
years go on, they're gonna go.
boom, like a gradual decline that'll happen. But I
Alright.
don't see that happening anytime soon.
Alright.
I just don't.
Two more things before we talk about the rest. This little NHL stuff. Steven Stamkos made his 7th All-Star game. He made it in through the fan voting. So a little round of applause for Steven. He's got like 46 points right now. So a little shout out to Steven Stamkos. He's going to join Vasilevsky and Hedman in the All-Star game. The Lightning are currently tied with the Florida Panthers for the best team in the NHL with the same amount of points. But the Lightning have played more games, and they've had 2 more losses than the Panthers. That's the only reason why they don't have the tiebreaker. And Timo Meyer with the San Jose Sharks had 5 goals last night, which is pretty impressive because you don't see that every day. And
How about that?
So a little 2 hockey things for us right there. And so you want to talk about these rests before we head on out?
Avalanche doing what they do too in the West. Okay.
Yep.
Makes sense. Hopefully they don't blow it again in the playoffs.
They will.
Yeah, they probably will, to be honest with you. Them in the Blues.
They need to do what the Lightning did. They're essentially what the Lightning were in 2019. That's what they've been for the last 3 years. They like run through the West, and then because they have the skill, but they don't have that kind of dog mentality like what the Lightning got when they brought in Coleman and Goodrow. They don't got that on their team. They just have the pest annoyance of Nazem Kadri, who's like behind Brad Marchand. He's like one of the more dirtier players in the NHL, but that's just what I got to say about that. But yeah. So beside Buffalo, there was
one thing I do want to say. I got to point this out is so over the weekend or in the past couple days, FAMU did pick up some key transfers from Iowa State. Actually, it's been pretty huge. So Kaim Mani King, who was a former 3-star defensive back, committed to FAMU. As well, too, I know they got a linebacker a few weeks ago too. I'm trying to find his name right now, but they also got Jordan
same
Moore.
guy you were trying to find his name like 2 weeks ago too.
Oh, here we go. Eric Horn. He's also a transfer linebacker from Iowa State, former 3-star, 6'1", 225 pounds. FAMU's been loading up, man, and then they also got another one too. Destin Coates, running back, 3-star, 5'11", 200 pounds, out of Georgia State. They're loading up, man. They're loading up.
I know Mississippi Valley State got the top JUCO QB.
Yes.
And I know they got him, and then Alabama A&M picked up like a bunch of guys. I know that one.
Dude, my thing was
a bunch of SEC guys. I think it was.
SEC everywhere. Every day you look up, Alabama A&M signs someone new. But the thing that I'm starting to notice that I saw with one of the guys we went to high school with, Malik Barrow, is the fact that like he never made it to fall camp. So I don't know how this is all going to work out. My thing is they've signed a whole bunch of guys. Like it's basically a whole new team. They're
probably like signing almost like a tryout contract, and they're bringing him in for the spring, and they're going to see how it works. And then
I don't know, man. This is crazy. I'm like, how many scholarships do they have?
I mean, maybe they got some guy pumping in the money for the name image, the NIL, whatever it's called, name, imaging, and likeness. I think is what it's called.
Probably.
But ain't Texas pumping out? Like I know the University of Texas is giving out like $1 million of NIL. So I mean, you ain't know what Alabama be doing. So, and then you got Hugh Jackson, right? He's in Grambling.
Yeah, Hugh Jackson's doing work, man. He's
gonna run the tequila business and run Grambling at the same time. I want to see how that works. You guys own tequila business, though.
Oh my
After
God.
he got fired from Cleveland, he opened that up. I want to see how it works.
Oh my goodness. What were you about to say before
I
I
was like, so out of the 6 or 8 games over the weekend, right, for the NFL,
Mhm.
only one team stood out to me, and that was Buffalo. But other than that, there was no real teams that actually stood out. The only thing that really stood out for the weekend, damn, them refs suck. Like they sucked really bad this weekend.
Oh, of
The
course.
officiating was the worst officiating I've seen was 2018, where because they blue calls on both the Saints and the Rams, but
Mhm.
they don't know how it ended. But they screwed so much up this weekend. I am like, wow. And you're like, they essentially suspended the guys who ref the Bengals Raiders game, right? But
Yeah,
then you have Bill
Jordan-
Benovich, who ref the Super Bowl the next year, and has been refing primetime games ever since. So I mean, you're like, okay, so you want to use harsh punishments for screwing up a game like Cleveland Cincinnati, but then you got that guy still running around doing whatever he wants.
I know. Yeah, no, yeah. See,
The officiating is so, like double standard.
Jerome Boger and his staff, they do a terrible job. I don't think that they're that good. I miss Ed Hockley. I miss him so much as a referee. But Jerome Boger's staff, they suck. I'm just gonna call it what it is. I'm glad that they're not doing any more games.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I gotta see what games he ref, because I want to think he did the game where they had the taunting call on the Chicago guy in Pittsburgh, that game.
Mhm.
The one where the guy like looked at the bench and they called that.
While he looks for that, friendly reminder, folks, the Running Gun Podcast is every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. live on YouTube and Twitter. We will be returning soon. As soon as Uncle Sam sends the goods, we will be back. So don't
Okay,
forget
so
in there.
let's
We'll be
see.
back. As he still
They
finds.
had the game where they screwed up the Tennessee New Orleans. They had the game where they screwed up. Remember that Baltimore Cleveland game? That was a horrible disaster, essentially. They had the Dallas New York game. I remember that one. That was the Dallas steamroll, I want to say. That one they called like a bunch of crazy stuff on, and the Cowboys fans were mad. And what else? Actually, they didn't have that bad of a schedule. They just screwed up. Actually, no, they got over 100 yards in penalties in most of these games. And most of the penalties are on the home team for some reason. They have this thing on NFL penalties that literally have all the stats on it. What the hell? But anyway, let's wrap this up. We're at 120. I'm gonna end up my research. I'm tired.
Exactly. Same. I'm getting hungry again. I have to go mess up some more.
Me too.
But folks, yes, that's going to do it for us. We thank you for joining us this evening on the Last Give podcast.
Know where to find us.
Yeah, Ace, this is your close. This is your show. I'm gonna
let me close this up. So, like, share, subscribe, be your friend, tell a friend. We might have some more stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to figure out how we're going to work this college sports thing. We're going to try to blend everything in so we can get y'all going with all of the college stuff. Go back to some of everything, essentially a bit of everything, with everything coming back. Hopefully, and not the dead hours, but you know how it works. You know where to find us at Penalty Talk, at Throw Flags on Instagram. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, because you're watching us on YouTube and Twitter. But y'all just make sure y'all head over to YouTube to do the comment section. I mean, it's what makes the show more fun, because we get to answer you guys' questions. So if you're watching on Twitter, go head over to YouTube during the shows. We can answer those questions, or even leave them in the comments section and we could just answer them the next show. That's always a thing. But you know how it goes, people. Take care. Have a good weekend. We'll see y'all next week. Like J Peep said, when the money comes in is when the running gun will come back.
Exactly.
And we can get a big time guest. But you know how it is. Stay safe out there. Stay blessed. JP's got anything else before we wrap?
Nope. Good night.